So my name's Rebecca, known as Beck, and I am the owner, CEO, founder of TDR Bridal Birmingham. TDR first opened in 2007, September 2007, with just one fitting room and just me. And then within 6 months, I did take on a member of staff, and we have now grown to 7 suites. We have 26 staff. And yeah, it's a really special place. So we have a lot of the designers that we stock, we have been with right from the off. You know, we've been with them for 17, nearly 18 years. So we've got really, really great relationships with them. People like Enzoani, when it first started, we were their first ever stockist, and we still stock them today. Lee, Ronald Joyce, which has now become Venny Infantino. Venny's name is finally there. We also stock British designer Sassi Holford, beautiful dresses. We do some amazing Allure dresses. We have probably, I'm going to say, 600 different styles in store at any one time.
So you're trying to cater for lots of different types of brides, or do you have a specific kind of aesthetic?
So I know that within the industry, you're always told, oh, you need to know your bride and you need to fit into that niche. During COVID, I made a really conscious decision that I didn't want to be just for one type of bride. I wanted to be somewhere that all brides could come to, whether they'd got a £600 budget or a £5,000 budget. I just wanted to be able to welcome them in. So yeah, I made a really conscious decision that we weren't going to be a certain type of shop for a certain type of bride, purely because I think everybody deserves to be a bride.
I think what you've done is really brave, because I think that as business owners, we're constantly told we've got to find a niche. So I think for you to be brave enough to appeal to a much broader audience of brides and open your doors up to different kinds of brides is a really, really brave thing to do. And it takes me back to the words on your website that I picked up when I was researching TDR. And you talk about being luxury but not pretentious, and providing this lovely, chilled, relaxed and wonderful place to be. So I just want to provide you with an opportunity to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so when I got married, just over 20 years ago now, obviously the bridal retail was a very different place. And you certainly did have the pretty woman moments where, you know, the shop assistant, not a stylist, the shop assistant would look you up and down and, you know, could you afford this? And, you know, I don't think you're wealthy enough to be shopping in my shop, kind of.
Oh God, and thank God things have changed since then.
Yeah. And so I never wanted TDR to be that kind of place, because I'm not that kind of person, and TDR is a representation of me. So we have created a space that it is luxury, and it is beautiful, and it is pretty, and it is also very comfortable, and there's just a feeling, and I don't even know what it is myself, but brides say when you come through the door at TDR, there is just a feeling that you can't quite describe, but it's just a place of happiness, celebration, care, love. And brides say that they feel looked after and they feel safe and they feel cared for, which for me is really, really important, because my personal experience 20 odd years ago was not so great. The brides just feel safe.
And I think that's exactly it, isn't it? And the feeling you were talking about, that you were saying you couldn't quite explain it, for me, that's magic. And I think if you, as a really good boutique owner, really genuinely, authentically want your clients to feel a wonderful experience, they will feel it, because that transfer of really positive energy,
It
they'll feel
does.
it, they walk in the space, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, brides, people in general can tell if there's a hidden agenda or something going on that's not quite right. They pick it up.
Mm.
And so that obviously means that I have to be really careful about the kind of people that I employ.
Yeah.
I have to set very clear objectives about the kind of behaviour that and the culture that we expect at TDR. And we've got a really, really, and I say this, they're a beautiful team. They are
I think they're hiding in the
lovely.
backgrounds as you're recording this, aren't
And they are, they're
they? They're
having a staff
smiling.
meeting, yeah. But no, they're not here. But they are genuinely lovely, lovely, lovely girls. And we don't employ people based on their sales skills because we're not interested. We employ people based on their personality and their warmth
Mm.
and whether or not we can connect with them.
This is why I like you, Rebecca. It's
Thank you.
very much, I run my business very much in the same way. I don't have a big team like you do, but everything I do is led by my heart. And I know that
And
can
mine,
sound very
yeah,
rude to a lot of people, but I was talking about it with my husband only yesterday. It's compassion and empathy. Like literally,
absolutely,
we direct every decision I make and my intuition as well. It's all how
yeah,
I feel about everything. I feel my
yeah,
way into decisions. And I think that's brilliant. I think
yeah,
that's really brilliant.
yeah.
And I definitely feel that that's been a huge part of your success
I
growing
think
the
so.
size it is now.
I think so, yeah. We were just having a chat in the staff meeting about, how we open the door and what we say and why we say what we say. And I brought them straight back to how I was brought up. My mum used to say, don't leave them on the doorstep, invite them in, you know. Just that little
Your
thing.
values that you've been raised with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And those values go right the way through TDR, right the
And we
way
have to
through.
remember as well that most people, most brides that are stepping through your doors, more than likely pretty stressed, hardworking, busy people that
Yeah,
don't really have a lot of time to do the research, make the decisions. This is all a whole new area and
it's a
space
whole
that
new
they're doing.
thing.
Like
Yeah,
it can be quite intimidating, can't it? So you need to make that experience as lovely and warm as you can for them.
yeah, and also we need to educate them, and
Mm,
we need to support them, and we need to make sure that they know all the options open to them and what happens next, and all the things that we take for granted every day.
mm.
Brides don't know that, they've not done this before. It's not like going into, I don't know, Next once a
Yeah.
week and picking up a blouse for work. It's a big thing, and it's an emotional thing. And yeah, our job fundamentally is to support them and guide them through.
Mm,
We liken it to the moment you get engaged, you step into a new country
mhm.
where they speak a different language. And a bride goes in, she's got this wonderful engagement ring, and then she's like, okay, I'm here. What happens now?
What
Yeah,
next?
you know. And it's scary and it's daunting, and you do need experts around you that will happily guide you. Whether or not they buy a dress from me is irrelevant. It's about supporting women and making sure that they are on the right path, and on the right path throughout their journey. That's the most important thing for us here. So yeah.
That is amazing. It's just so heartwarming to hear you speak about it so passionately. So, one of the things that I know that you do to try and make that journey easier is provide a client portal for
Yes.
your bride. So, can you tell me more about that and how it works?
Yeah, so when a bride books an appointment with TDR, they can do it directly on the website, so they don't have to ring us, and we don't qualify them to make sure they're our bride, because we don't believe in any of that. Every bride's a bride.
Mm.
Um, so they book an appointment, and straight away they'll get obviously their confirmation email, but they get an email which gives them access to a portal, which is their own personal portal. And in that portal are all of our dresses,
Mm.
and they can favourite the ones that they like.
Amazing.
Yeah, so they can favourite as many as they like.
Mm.
We usually, some brides favourite 250 dresses, some brides your favourite 5.
Don't worry if you're watching this and that's you. That's
Don't
normal.
worry. But what that does is that gives us an insight into the kind of style that they're going for. There's also lots of questions in there about, you know, the style of their wedding, the vibe of their wedding, the colour scheme if they've got one, or, you know, any information that they want to share with us, really. And then what happens? Can you hear the stylists then? They were all laughing.
I'm glad they're having a good time.
So what that does, it gives the stylist a really, really good idea of the kind of vibe that they're going for before they even come for their appointment. And we also give them a call. We give all our brides a call before, just so that we can get to know them a little bit more. And, you know, if there's anything that they're worried about, we can kind of talk it through with them before they come, so that they're not feeling anxious on the day, because we want them to step through the door and be like, I can't wait, you know, and excited, and and not daunted, because it is daunting and it is scary, and that's very easy to forget, you know.
Of course, yeah. And so, you know, coming into a completely unfamiliar space with lots of different people. But I would imagine that the process you've just described to me, by the way, is genius, I think, because the amount of time you're going to avoid from being wasted. The process of discovery as well for the bride, filling in all those details, must be really fascinating, especially for those people that literally just don't know where to start. And
well, you know, I mean, and a lot of brides think they know where to start. And that's really useful actually to us, because although they may be looking at, I don't know, slinky fishtail dresses, there might be, and throughout their journey, their appointment with us, they might realise that actually those slinky fishtails aren't for them. Their stylist will have looked at the fabric or the lace, or the, you know, some embellishment on that dress, that actually we've got a different silhouette, but with very similar details within it. So we know that the bride will like that's that lace or whatever it is, and we can pull that dress for them. So it's kind of like putting the pieces of a jigsaw together for them, if you like. So that portal's really, really useful.
Incredibly.
For the bride and for us,
I wish I'd have had a portal when I went wedding dress shopping, but that was quite a long time ago now. There is something.
I had the yellow pages.
Did you? Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to think. Well, might have been like, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, yeah,
for me. But one thing I wanted to touch on as well, you know, as we're talking about your bridal appointments, is that you don't charge for your appointments.
No.
So do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
So there are a lot of shops that do charge for appointments, and I get that, you know, that's fine. If it works for them, that's fine. For me personally, as I've already talked about, TDR is an extension of me and my home and my values. And I morally just don't think it's right to charge a bride to be a VIP, or to be more important than somebody else, and to only be able to look at my dresses if she pays for it. I just find that really uncomfortable. And I think that every bride deserves to be a VIP. And, you know, everybody deserves special celebratory times. They shouldn't have to pay extra to have a glass of fizz. They shouldn't have to pay extra to give their nana a cup of hot chocolate. You know, all of those things are part and parcel of what we do. And yeah, it just doesn't work for TDR. It's not what we're about. It's not something we're going to go down. Don't get me wrong, we could do it, and we could probably, you know, I don't know, because a lot of shops say, oh, and I pay for my staff's training with it. Well, I pay for my staff's training anyway, because they're really, really important to me. And I want them to be invested in, and I want them to be really good stylists that are really, you know, tuned into their brides. I don't need to that's part of my, my business, my back end, if you like. That's what I'm supposed to do, is train my girls to be the best they can possibly be.
Yeah.
That my customers shouldn't have to pay for that,
And we're not dissing any other boutique that does
No,
it.
absolutely not.
A lot.
Everybody, and I understand, because I do understand with smaller shops that have just got one or two changing rooms, that, if a bride doesn't turn up, obviously that time is very valuable to them. But my opinion on that is that, well, our job is to speak to those brides before they come, to make sure A, they still want the appointment, and then B, find out more about them, and find out more about their wedding. So we just have a very different philosophy at TDR. And I know that shops say, oh, you get it back at the end of your appointment if you buy a
You redeem it
dress.
against your dress purchase, but
Yeah, but then that's transactional. That's transactional. That's,
yeah.
and that's not what we're about at all.
So tell me then, as the lady at the helm of this incredible business, for you,
Mhm.
what's the most rewarding part of running TDR Bridal?
Oh, do you know, there's lots of different rewarding parts, but I would say it's actually watching my stylists grow is probably one of the most rewarding. I've just yesterday, we had a goodbye party for one of my stylists who has been with me for 5 years,
Mhm.
and she was 19 when she came. She was a baby, and she's grown into this beautiful young woman, and she's strong, and she's confident, and she's gone off traveling to Thailand for 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and she would not have done that, let me tell you. She would not have done that. So it's lovely to see my team becoming confident and being able to empower other women to be, to feel just strong and confident and beautiful within themselves, and not worry about the external
Yeah,
beauty, if that makes sense.
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so that's a really, really special and important thing for me. And then obviously, I mean, I don't serve on the shop floor anymore, but I do love coming in on a busy Saturday and just feeling the vibe, and that that is just so rewarding for me. Um, and seeing the feedback, and the reviews, and all of those sorts of things. I'm very creative as well. I'm actually a florist by trade.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Actually had
yeah,
no idea about that.
yeah. So in a former life, I was a florist, and I specialised in wedding work. I did my 3rd year City and Guilds, and I specialised in wedding work. So that's how I got into the industry in the first place. Um, but I just love seeing everything being pulled together, and creating, stories for people, and the creative side, I
Yeah.
suppose, of the whole thing. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I get the sense that you are a very genuine woman's woman and that you
Yes, I
love
am.
empowering women,
I
use your
absolutely believe in it.
creativity and
Yeah,
enabling them in all sorts of different ways. I think
yeah.
it's
I
really
think
lovely.
if anybody that knows me knows that I'm kind of, I'll do anything for anybody. If
Mm,
I can help, I'll always help. And that includes other bridal shops. I help other bridal shops, because ultimately it helps the industry per se.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm very passionate about that. Yeah.
I've got a couple more questions, and because we're on this topic of how proud you are about your
Mhm.
boutique, I want you to tell me about the awards that you've won quite recently,
Okay.
and that I
Well,
know you're very proud of.
yeah, I mean, we've won the TWIA awards quite a few times now, over the
Well
years,
done,
which I'm really proud of, yeah.
well done.
But last year we won the Bridal Buyer, um, Best Bridal Retailer England, which is fantastic, and I was over the moon. I think we're the only bridal shop to ever win 2 awards at the same event, because they also awarded us the Inclusivity and Diversity Award, which
You.
for us and me personally was massive. We were I can't even tell you the emotion that went through that room. We were absolutely overjoyed, overwhelmed, and humbled, actually, to have won it.
Oh, you'll have me crying, happy tears in a bit. I
You
can
know,
so sense your pride and your joy.
yeah, well, it's a bit of a long story, and I won't go into all of it, but suffice to say, I have a brother who has cerebral palsy, and I'm 54 now. We went out for just an evening. I'm one of five, so I'm a big family, and he's got a twin brother. And we went out, and I've never seen my brother as disabled, and that might sound a bit crazy, but because I grew up with him, he's just Chris to me. He's my brother. But we went out for a night up in Birmingham, and it was the first time that I actually saw his disability through his eyes. And it shocked me to the core, because he was told he couldn't go upstairs to see the band, and he could go up there on the chairlift, but he'd have to sit in the corner, so he'd look at everybody's bottom. You know, he couldn't actually see the music. So then when I said, well, okay, you know, he compromised and said, I can see them from here. And he was sort of looking up through the balustrades. He said, I'll stay here. He was in his wheelchair. And so I said, well, could I have a chair just to sit with him then, so that I can talk to him on his level, not talk down to him because it's loud, and I want to be able to. It took me 2 hours, and the manager, for me to actually get a chair just to sit and talk to my brother. And I just thought, I've never realised this, because my brother's very, I'll just get on with it, Beck, you know, this is what we do. And
Your
you know,
lived experience, is
he's
it?
married, he's got two gorgeous daughters, and he's just lived his life regardless of being disabled. So as I say, I'd never really seen it through his eyes, and it just shocked me. And I came back to TDR and I thought, we need to do our bit actually here. And so we started to change. So things like disabled access, you know, it's a given here now. Our toilets are set up for disabled access. That, you know, the way into the store is set up for disabled access. Everything we do, we think about the access. The other thing as well that we realised on this journey of inclusivity was that everybody deserves to be married, and whether they are trans, you know, whether they're whatever, everybody deserves to be loved. Everybody deserves to be treated with the same respect. So that Inclusivity and Diversity Award, we really worked hard on, and we've worked hard on it, I would say, for probably eight, maybe 10 years now. But we did a photo shoot. I don't know, did you ever see the images of it, Annabel?
I don't think so. I'm
I
going
will
to have to
send
see
you the images.
them now.
So we did a huge photo shoot at the Custard Factory in Birmingham, and we had all kinds of different people from all kinds of, you know, all walks of life, and we did this fabulous, amazing photo shoot. And because we wanted to send out to the world, if you like, certainly our, you know, people that are looking to be married, that we're a safe place for them to come. And that photo shoot was the highlight of my career. It was the most important thing I've ever done. And I did it for my brother. And it was incredible. And I consider myself in a really privileged position to be able to do that and create that, so that other people in our industry can follow suit and go, oh yeah, I get it. Everybody deserves to be married. Everybody deserves that moment. Everybody deserves that, you know, that special care and attention, whatever and whoever they are. you know. So yeah, that award for me was, for me personally, was special, really, really special.
And extremely well deserved. And I genuinely do feel quite weepy listening to you, because
Oh,
listening to it, it's clear and evident that it's coming from a very, very genuine and
yeah,
authentic place, from your experience and your brother's lived
yeah.
experience. And I just think you are an incredible leader in the
Oh,
field.
thank you.
You've so touched me sharing that story, honestly. I'm going to have to just go and like gather myself up. That is so incredible. And what an incredibly well-deserved reward as well. So for the people who
Yeah,
made that
thank you.
decision, thank you, because I just think that validates for you all the effort that you've made to try and help
Yeah,
everybody feel visible,
yeah.
everybody
And for
feel
the
heard.
industry, I want the industry
Mm,
to open its arms
mm,
and just be more accepting and be more switched on and tuned in to what they need to be doing. It's important, you know. We're all human beings.
mm.
Yeah, I mean, my mom has a saying, you know, she'll say to me, Rebecca, we all come in with no clothes on and we all go out with no clothes on. So the only important thing is how you treat each other while you're here. All the
So
monetary things,
true.
all the, and you
She's
know,
so
and
right.
it's she's so right. Yeah, yeah. She had her 80th birthday on Christmas Eve, bless her.
Oh, bless her. Happy
Yeah,
birthday to your belated birthday wishes to your mum.
yeah. So
Bless her heart, but she's
she's
so right.
amazing. Yeah,
Everybody's the same, and you should treat everybody the same. Nobody's more
exactly,
important than anyone else. Nobody.
exactly. Nobody. Doesn't matter who you think you are or what you think you've got. That makes no difference in life. I remember going to one of the trade shows and just really looking with a fresh set of eyes, um, and asking, where are the black models?
Mm,
Where are the plus size models?
mm,
Don't send me any of those images because I don't want them. I
mm.
want images that look like real women. And they were all looking at me like I'd, you know, lost my marbles. But I was really, once you open your eyes to it and you start to look, you think, my God, this is, I was almost ashamed at one point. 10 years ago, if you weren't, you know, 5'6", blonde and a size 8, you would not be seen in a wedding dress in any social media.
Harsh but true.
Yeah.
Hmm. Harsh but true.
You know, it's just wrong because
Yeah, and I still think that
whilst there are women out there that are beautiful, blonde, and 5'6" and a size 8,
they're
there
not
are
the only women out there. They're
also
getting married.
exactly, you know, there are also thousands of other types of people that get married.
And I think it's taken some very brave people to open up and talk about that,
Mm,
and be very honest about it. We've tackled it on Love My Dress before with some very, very brave individuals. But I still think that a significantly far too big still portion of the industry has a lot of work to do in that respect.
yeah, I
But
do.
it's very encouraging to see the
Mm,
proactive side of the industry
yeah,
get it, not just feel like they're obligated, but truly understand
understand it.
what the issue was, and
Yeah,
genuinely from their heart have that moment like, what, oh my God, like the veils lifted moment, like this is
yeah,
not right.
it's not
Um,
right. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, this has just been such an incredible conversation, but I want to close on a focus for the brides
yeah.
who are listening, because they're my majority audience. God bless them. I want you to give your best advice to brides that are watching for how to approach this whole adventure of finding their wedding dress, because we'll have lots of newly engaged brides now who have got engaged
Yeah,
as a new year, who will be finding this content and not quite sure where to start.
yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of advice I can give, you know, about how to shop and where to shop and, you know, all those kind of things. But I think fundamentally, it's about being true to yourself, isn't it? Have a plan. Yes, have a Pinterest board. Yes, have lots of ideas, but be true to yourself and stay true to yourself and your relationship with that other person, because, you know, marriage is a really, really important, huge promise to another human being that you know, you're pledging to spend the rest of your life with that person. So you have to just be true to yourself and your relationship first, above everything else, everything. And that includes, you know, what you wear, where you eat, who you celebrate with, all of those things have to be true to you. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Never more honest and helpful words spoken. Rebecca, honestly, it's been such a pleasure.
I've loved talking to you. Yeah,
and hearing you speak and share your passion and your smiles and your whole kind of body language, just like it just tells me so much about you and your team and what you do. So thank you very much. And for anyone watching this, you'll be able to find the links and details to TDR Bridal down below, wherever you're watching. So thank you so much, Rebecca.
Honestly, Annabel, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I've really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you have.